talking to God, from you comes my praise in the great congregation. Have you ever felt dull in worship? You're trying to work up a feeling of worship or thoughts of worship, and you can't quite get it mustered up. Well, that's because it comes from God. It has to come from God. A true heart of worship exists because of God's activity of grace in your life. And that's true when we're singing. It's true when we're listening to the prayers, to the reading of the Word of God, and certainly the teaching and preaching of God's Word. All that has to, the proper response in worship from our hearts has to be given to us as a grace gift from God. From you comes my praise in the great congregation. So let's pray. Father, we pray that you would fill us with the Spirit of God. We are not spiritual enough to really grasp onto the deep truths that you want us to know about Jesus, or to appropriate those things, apply those things to our lives properly. It must be the work of the Spirit of God within us through the Word of God. From you comes our praise. You have to put it in our hearts. What you want out of us in worship has to be put in us by your grace. And so we pray that you would do that this morning and that you would glorify your Son, Jesus. And we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. We'll get to our text in just a moment. We'll read as we go along. But I wanted to just talk about, at the outset, the idea of unanticipated consequences. When we take a course of action in our lives, we don't always see it all the way through. We don't always know the consequences that might spring out of that, might roll out of a decision, for example, in our lives. But God is faithful. God is faithful to welcome us back into the place where we belong. He is. Even when we make a decision, we do something that is sinful, we step away from God, God is faithful, and He's there to welcome us back. So we're in this series called Foundations. It's a survey of redemptive history in the book of Genesis. We're not going to look at every verse in Genesis, but we are going to kind of traverse through the book and see what it tells us about the faith. And really, it serves as a foundation for the rest of Scripture. The book of Genesis does. We learned last week in the story of the call of Abram, that God's sovereign grace reaches into the lives of sinners and rescues them. You'll recall that we looked at Abram and he was a pagan. He was a moon-worshipping pagan. And God reached into his life and saved him, rescued him. We also saw last week that the sovereign grace of God holds on to us even when we stumble in our journey of faith. So we may make poor choices along the way. And God doesn't discard us. He holds on to us anyway. So thank God for His saving grace, His sustaining grace through Jesus in our lives. That was last week. You'll recall maybe, if you were here last week, the story that God told Abram to leave his country, to leave his kindred, that is his relative, all his relatives, and including his own father's household. Leave all of those people, leave what you know, and go down into the land of Canaan, what would later be known as the Promised Land. And the Lord told Abraham that He would give the land of Canaan to his offspring, to his descendants, that Abram, through him, all the nations of the earth would be blessed. And we saw that that's ultimately fulfilled in the Lord Jesus Christ. And so Abram moves his family down. That's Abram, his wife Sarai, and his nephew Lot. Now, why would he bring his nephew Lot? Well, it's because his brother Haran died back in Ur of the Chaldees. And so he was kind of a surrogate daddy, really, to Lot. He was kind of looking out for him. That was his nephew, Lot. So Lot came along with him as well. They went down into Canaan. And they're living there, and then a severe famine comes on the land. And instead of consulting with God, we saw last week that Abram took matters in his own hands. In Genesis 12:10, it tells us, so Abram went down to Egypt. Listen, it's key to our talk today. Now understand that Abram made a poor decision. He did not consult with God, and he went down into Egypt, and there were unintended consequences that came out of that. Abram failed to ask God if it was a good idea, and then, to make matters worse, he lied. He told his wife, hey, listen, you go down there when we go to Egypt and you tell everybody you're my sister. Because you are good looking. And you know what? Pharaoh's court's going to want to take you from me, kill me. If you say I'm your husband, and they'll take you for his wife, you know. And so he lies. He comes up with this idea. It's just a bunch of stuff springing out of this. But we saw last week that God protected Abram and Sarai. Genesis chapter 12, verse 16 tells us that Pharaoh made Abram pretty rich. It says this: he gave him sheep and oxen, male donkeys, male servants, female donkeys, and camels. So, and Pharaoh was blessing Abram because he thought he was going to take Abram's sister as his wife. Turns out it's his wife, and he gives Sarai back. Now listen, we might be tempted to think of what Abram did here, and we might be tempted to pat him on the back and say, hey, not so bad, buddy. Good job. I mean, you made a decision. There was famine, so you made a decision. Made sense. You went down to Egypt. Okay, you didn't consult God, but you went down into Egypt. You had plenty of food. All right, you had your wife lie. But look, you came out of Egypt and you're rich. I mean, Pharaoh made you rich. You had some stuff when you went down into Egypt, but man, now you're really, really wealthy. So good job, Abram. Looks like it worked out for you. That's awesome. But as we'll see today, sin often, and you might write this down in your notes, there's a space for it. Sin often has unanticipated consequences. But God is faithful to welcome us back to the place where we belong. Abram made a sinful choice. God said, go to Canaan, live there. He didn't consult with God, famine comes, he goes down to Egypt. He disobeyed God. He came up out of Egypt wealthy. He thought maybe that's the end of the story, but there's unintended consequences, and God is faithful to welcome us back to the place where we belong. So today, we're reminded of the faithfulness of God despite the unanticipated consequences of our sin. And first of all, write this down, we are reminded that God is faithful despite the unanticipated consequences of sin that hurt our relationships. Let's read this story in Genesis chapter 13. It said, Abram went up from Egypt, he and his wife, and all they had, and Lot with him into the Negev. That's the southern part of Promised Land. Now Abram was very rich in livestock, and silver, and in gold. And he journeyed on from the Negev as far as Bethel, to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, to the place where he had made an altar at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. And Lot, who went with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents, so that the land could not support both of them dwelling together, for their possessions were so great they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. At that time, the Canaanites and the Perizzites were dwelling in the land. In other words, God had not fully given the land to Abram yet. Verse 8, then Abram said to Lot, let there be no strife between you and me, and between your herdsmen and my herdsmen, for we are kinsmen. We are brothers, right? Is not the whole land before you? Separate yourself from me. If you take the left hand, I will go to the right, or if you take the right hand, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes and saw that the Jordan Valley was well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt in the direction of Zoar. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself all the Jordan Valley, and Lot journeyed east. Thus they separated from each other. Verse 12. Abram settled in the land of Canaan, while Lot settled among the cities of the valley, and moved his tent as far as Sodom. Now the men of Sodom were wicked, great sinners against the Lord. The Lord said to Abram, after Lot had separated from him, lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are, northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all the land that you see I will give you and your offspring forever. I will make your offspring as the dust of the earth, so that if one can count the dust of the earth, your offspring also can be counted. Arise, walk through the length and the breadth of the land, for I will give it to you. So Abram moved his tent and came and settled by the oaks of Mamre, which are at Hebron, and there he built an altar to the Lord. Egypt. Egypt. Abram's decision to go down into Egypt. Some of the biggest challenges in Abram's life came about as a result of his decision to go down into Egypt. While he left Egypt a very rich man, as we see there in chapter 13, verses 1 and 2, it soon became obvious that the land could not support Abram and his flocks, along with his nephew Lot and his flocks. So we just read there, verses 5 through 9. They're very rich. Both of them have plenty of possessions, plenty of flocks and herds. Now I want you to think about this just relationally for a second. Up to this moment in time, Abram and his nephew Lot, his little buddy Lot, who's now grown up, they've left Ur of the Chaldeans. They have moved to Haran, and now they've moved down into the promised land. They went down into Egypt, and now they're back up into the promised land. And they've been together probably Lot's whole life, at least since his daddy died, Abram's brother. And they've been close as family. They lived together. They loved each other. They traveled together. They enjoyed the company of one another, uncle and nephew. It was great. But because Abram chose to get down into Egypt in rebellion to God's clear command, and because he chose to lie about his wife, calling her a sister, the dynamics, and hear this, the dynamics of his relationship with Lot were changed. They both came up from Egypt, and according to the text, they both had herds, tents, servants. Abram has plenty of gold and silver. They're very wealthy now. Pharaoh has lavished upon them on top of what they already had. The Abram that went down into Egypt is not the same guy who comes up out of Egypt. He leaves Egypt a very wealthy guy. But I want you to hear this. What you think is a blessing initially, hey, that worked out. You know you're rich now. That's awesome. But the sheer magnitude of his wealth and the way that played out in that day was herds and flocks and cattle, oxen, and all that. The sheer magnitude of his wealth impacted his relationship with Lot. He couldn't see it coming. He didn't know what was going to happen. He didn't know that was going to be an unintended consequence, that there was going to be separation. Lot becomes wealthy, Abram becomes wealthy, and the very thing that seemed like a good thing, acquiring wealth, became the point of contention that drove a relational wedge of separation physically between Abram and Lot. It came about because of their herdsmen, but it affected them. They still loved each other, they still respected each other, but the unintended consequence of physical separation happened because Abram chose to disobey, and everything that sprung out of that from Egypt. There's another unintended consequence that happened. Abram's nephew Lot had his eyes open to luxuries, and that colored his perspective. I mean, the text tells us when it came time to separate that he looked around and said, "What's the better land to take?" He didn't ask, "What's the more righteous place to be? Where's the place to be in the place of God's blessing?" He looked and saw a place that looked well watered, like the region around the Nile, the place that he would anticipate Eden might be like, and it was just lush and green before God had destroyed the area in which Sodom and Gomorrah was located. And so in verse 10 and 11, we read that he lifts up his eyes and saw the Jordan Valley well watered everywhere like the garden of the Lord, just like Egypt. Here's another unintended consequence. Man, he wants what Egypt has. He wants that. And the land is beautiful and attractive, and he goes down to a place that we'll learn there in verse 13 says the men of Sodom are wicked. Great sinners before the Lord. We're told in the New Testament that it grieved righteous Lot to be among such evil. But what got him there was the unintended consequence of his eyes being opened to luxuries that his uncle had brought him to down in Egypt. The decision of Lot moved him to this place of great wickedness. It wasn't exactly what he had anticipated, though. You've heard the statement, all that glitters isn't gold, right? Now, Gage was cleaning out the North Annex this last week, and he's getting it ready for the Red Cross to move in. And, you know, he saw this basket of candy. And I was like, ooh. You know, I took one look at that. I was like, man, Gage, I think this has been here quite a while, brother. I don't think you probably ought to really mess with this. You probably ought to just throw it away. But I knew, you know, when I went back to my office, there was going to be a temptation there. And I knew he'd probably try one anyway. So I said, okay, didn't I say you can have one, right? You can have one, Gage. So later on that day, he comes in and he's holding this candy out of its wrapper. As you look at it from the outside, you're going, okay, yeah, you know, it's a little piece of candy, you know, one that you can chew and start to bite off. But if you look a little closer, and you can see little openings in it, and you look inside, and you can see the inside was hollowed out, and all these dead ants stuck to the candy. And I'm like, wow, you know, it's like a delicious piece of candy, right? I mean, dead ants. I think it would have been quite a surprise. So here's Lot, you know, Lot, it comes time to separate, and Lot looks and he's like, well, just look at that lovely land down there. It's lush and green, and he didn't know worms were all in it. The worms of sin and wickedness, great wickedness. The place was filled with people whose hearts were completely turned against God, just filled with wickedness, but he didn't see that. He didn't see it. And I want you to think about what Lot did. He left the place of blessing. Abram, he's back in the place of blessing. He's back in the promised land. Lot's back in the promised land. And Lot looks across the Jordan River. And he looks down into the Jordan Valley. And he looks down to the area of Sodom and Gomorrah. And he sees how absolutely beautiful it is. And instead of saying, hey, should I leave Canaan? Should I leave the place of God's blessing? He doesn't even ask him. He just sees the beauty of the area. And he crosses over the Jordan, and in doing so, steps out of the land, the place of God's blessing, and goes down into the place of wickedness. We get a hint of what's to come later in the story. It says, now the men of Sodom were wicked and great sinners against Yahweh. Verse 13. But I want you to notice the faithfulness of God. Lot, he goes to Sodom. Abram, he returns to Canaan in obedience to God, returns to the places of worship. When he had first come into the land, he had gone to these same places. He had built altars to the Lord in two different places and worshipped Yahweh, and then he had gone down into Egypt. And now he comes back to those very same places. If you look in chapter 13, verse 3 and 4, he journeyed on from the Negev as far as Bethel to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, to the place where he had made an altar at the first, and there Abram called on the name of Yahweh. So there he does it again. He comes back to the place where he had first met with God in the place of blessing. And then you look down to verse 18 of that same chapter. And what is Abram doing? He moves his tent after God comes and reiterates his promise. He moves his tent and comes to the oaks of Mamre, which are at Hebron, and there he does what? He builds an altar to Yahweh. And he worships God. And in the repentance and return of Abram, God in his faithfulness reiterates his covenant promise to Abram. Look back at verse 14. The Lord said to Abram after Lot had separated from him, lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are, northward and southward and eastward and westward. For all the land that you see I will give to you and to your offspring forever. I will make your offspring as the dust of the earth, so that if one can count the dust of the earth, your offspring also can be counted. Mind you, Abram still doesn't have a child. Arise, walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I will give it to you. So God in his faithfulness reiterates his covenant promise to Abram. And by the way, another unintended consequence of Abram's sinful choice to move to Egypt is found in Genesis 16. You can read it later. But we see there in Genesis 16 the story of Abram's wife and her, I quote, female Egyptian servant whose name was Hagar. That's in Genesis 16. Did you get that? Her female Egyptian servant whose name is Hagar. I said at the beginning, that most of the things that happened in Abram's life that were a problem sprang out of his one decision to end in Egypt. Sarai comes back, the female Egyptian servant. And she gives that servant to Abram because she hasn't been able to have a child. And so, according to the custom of the day, well, if I can't bear a child, I will give my servant, and that servant can bear the child on my knees, and thus surrogately be my child that I give to my husband. And Hagar does give birth to Ishmael, and that has caused problems ever since. God is faithful to welcome us back to the place where we belong, even though we may experience unintended consequences for our sins. Just look at your own life. What are some of the unintended consequences of the sinful choices that you've made in your lifetime? Trust God's faithfulness to welcome you back into the place of blessing. Trust in God's faithfulness to work in the relationships in your life that have been hurt by sin. The relationship of Lot and Abram was hurt by physical separation for the first time in their lives. There may be somebody who needs to hear from you, someone you've hurt, who could really use your heartfelt and humble apology, seeking forgiveness for past actions. Who is it in your life that you need to humble yourself, go to them and say, you know what? I was wrong. And not bring up what they did wrong. Just bring up what you did wrong. And just say, will you please forgive me? You may be divorced. Maybe even remarried. Your ex may be remarried. And if that's the case, you're obviously not getting back together. But are there unresolved issues of sin that you committed? Again, it takes two to tango, and whatever your situation is, okay. Could have been like 99% of the other person's fault. But I'm just saying, is there something unresolved, something you need to make right with your ex? That bites, right? That hurts. But you'll be free. You'll be free if you humble yourself. As far as it depends on you, live at peace. Maybe you have a child that has been hurt because of your sinful choices. Maybe that child's an adult or a teenager. Have you taken the time and humbled yourself low enough to talk with that child and offer a heartfelt apology? Without bringing up their stuff. You just say, you know what? Remember that time? They do. Sorry. Yeah, I really blew it when I said that. I really blew it when I hurt you. I didn't. God in His faithfulness can repair the relationship with your child, but it may come as a result of the open door brought by your humility, your repentance, your offer of an apology. Even though Abram stumbled and sinned against God by going down to Egypt, the Lord in His faithfulness welcomed him back home to the place of blessing. He goes down to Egypt, he comes back, and now he's back. He's worshiping God. Back in the place of blessing. Even though there's some unintended consequences relationally. And in His faithfulness, God reminds Abram, there's still a future for you. He reiterates His promise. To your offspring, I'm going to give this land. So here's the thing. No matter what you've done, no matter what's going on in your life, the unintended consequences in your life, you need to stand up in grace. Don't wallow in self-pity. Don't wallow in regret. Don't always just be thinking about the past and I should have, oh man, if I had it only. Stand up in grace and actually choose to believe that God, in His grace and His power, His ability, His kindness, He can actually begin to fix some things in the relationships that you have that have been affected by sin. So no matter how you feel, God or your family, return to the place of blessing. Come experience the faithful love of God who has given His very best for you in Jesus. Been around people before who feel like they've blown it too badly. Now, you don't know what I've done? There's no hope really for a true, meaningful restoration with that person. Well, even if the dynamics have changed, let God change you. Let God lead you back to a place of humility. And seek out that restoration as far as that restoration can go. There may need to be some barriers there, some boundaries. Okay, fine. But God can bring healing. Listen, the Scripture tells us that God has already anticipated your sin. He already knew in advance of you ever even being born what you would do. He knew Abram was going to go down into Egypt. He knew the unintended consequences that would flow out of that. Your rebellion to his design and his commands, he knew all about it before you ever did it. And he provided the way for you to return to him, and that way is through Jesus. The New Living Translation puts Romans 5, 7, and 8 like this. Most people would not be willing to die for an upright person, though someone might perhaps be willing to die for a person who is especially good. But God showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. He already anticipated your sin. He already knew what you were going to do. And he took care of it at the cross of Jesus. So come back to the place of blessing and trust in Jesus. No matter what you've done, no matter how far you've walked away from God's design for your life, there is hope for you in Christ. There is. God is faithful to welcome you back into the place of blessing as you turn to him in repentance and faith. Maybe you've confessed Jesus as Lord, but you've walked away in an area of your life and you've been disobeying God. You're kind of used to disobeying God. Humble yourself before the Lord. Today is the day for you to repent and turn from your sin, and confess your sin, and God in his faithfulness will be there to forgive you of your sin and cleanse you from all unrighteousness. So find in Jesus. Find in Jesus your place of belonging, in whom are all the treasures that will delight your soul for all of eternity. Lot looks down the well-watered plain. He forgets about God's command to be in the promised land, and he leaves the place of blessing, because that looked more delightful. I'm telling you, you do that all the time. God says this, we say, but this looks better. And God is saying, no, you don't understand. If you will absolutely wrap up your life in the life of my Son, you will discover a delight in him that goes beyond any other delight that is out there. Jesus is the one who will delight you for all of eternity. There is no one and there is nothing that will satisfy you like Jesus will satisfy you. Do you believe that? So stop looking at the rotten candy the world has to offer. Well, that looks delicious. You might just get a little surprised when you bite into it. Maybe you've experienced the tugging of God in your heart to invite you to trust in Jesus, and yet you keep rejecting the offer of salvation. Jesus went to the cross and died for your sins. He rose from the dead. He offers you life. And all you got to do is say, you know what? I'm done with my old life. I want Jesus to be my master, my Lord, the Lord of my life. I trust in him alone. You can do that today. You can be saved today. You really can. Today is the day of salvation. While it's called today, open up your heart to the Lord in faith, believing that Jesus died on the cross for your sins, that he has life for you. Confess Jesus as Lord today. Don't assume you got tomorrow morning to wake up and you're going to do it tomorrow. Well, I'll just take care of that tomorrow. So today we're reminded that God is faithful, despite the unintended consequences of sin that hurt our relationships. Lastly, we are reminded that God is faithful despite the unanticipated consequences of sin that threaten our future. Write that down. That threaten our future. Look, if you would, over at chapter 14. Starting in verse 11. So the enemy took all the possessions of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their provisions and went their way. They also took Lot, the son of Abram's brother, who was dwelling in Sodom, and his possessions, and went their way. Then one who had escaped came and told Abram the Hebrew, who was living by the oaks of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and of Aner. These were the allies of Abram. When Abram heard that his kinsmen had been taken captive, he led forth his trained men, born in his house, 318 of them, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. And he divided his forces against them by night, he and his servants, and defeated them, and pursued them to Hobah, north of Damascus. Then he brought back all the possessions and also brought back his kinsman Lot with his possessions and the women and the people. After his return from the defeat of Chedorlaomer, say that 3 times quickly, and the kings who were with him, the king of Sodom went out to meet him at the valley of Shalom, that is the king's valley. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram by God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. And Abram gave him 1/10 of everything. And the king of Sodom said to Abram, Give me the persons and take the goods for yourself. And Abram rejects that as he goes on in the passage. What we haven't read here in this story is the first section there, the first paragraph out of chapter 14. It's the account of battles between alliances of kings. There's kings on this side that kind of ally together, and then there's kings on this side. They kind of they're partners together, and they clash. They get into a fight, and one tries to conquer the other. Well, Sodom and Gomorrah are allied together along with others, and the ones who are coming against the alliance that includes Sodom and Gomorrah, those other guys win. Sodom and Gomorrah are defeated. We read in verses 11 and 12 the natural consequence of their defeat. And the natural consequence is the enemy armies ransack Sodom and Gomorrah and take away the spoils of war, which includes women, children, other people. Includes all the expensive clothing and money, possessions. They ransack the cities, and the enemy kings, they realize, hey, there's this rich guy here named Lot. Look at all that he has. And so we're going to take him too. We're going to take him too. So they take his flocks, his herds, his tents, his wife, everything that he's got. And we see in verses 13 through 16 that somebody comes and tells Abram, hey, did you hear what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? And did you hear what happened to your nephew Lot? Because he's been taken captive and all the women, children, everything's taken. And so Abram gathers together his strong men. And he goes and he fights and he defeats the kings who had raided Sodom and Gomorrah. We're told of Abram, verse 16, he brought back all the possessions and also brought back his kinsman Lot with his possessions and the women and the people. So Lot had left the place of God's blessing. He had journeyed into the area near Sodom. This resulted in Lot and his family becoming prisoners of war and his possessions stolen. Listen, his future was threatened by his choice to leave the place of blessing. God is faithful even when the consequences of our sins threaten our future. And here, Lot is now taken captive and everything that he has. Obviously, there's a history of some pretty poor choices that led up to the circumstance that led to Lot's capture. And they threatened his future. But God is faithful anyway. Despite all the poor choices by Abram and Lot, God delivers Lot and restores his family and his possessions to him. So that's the story in a nutshell. As we look and read in the story, we understand that Abram, when he brought back Lot and his family, actually brought back the other captives from the city, the other possessions from the city. The king of Sodom says, hey man, you can take the spoils of war. Abram responds, yeah, no one's going to make me rich. No. I already made a vow about that. It's not going to happen. You're not going to do that. I'll take the family. Take family. Abram begins his journey home, and as he nears Jerusalem, what we now know as Jerusalem, we read in verse 17, the king of Sodom goes out and meets him at the valley of Shalom. Verse 21, keep the spoils of war. Abram refuses it. He says, I am looking to God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. Verse 22 and 23. Now let's not overlook these really odd verses here in verse 18 and 20. Go back to verse 18 through 20. In these verses we see a foreshadowing of the Lord Jesus Christ. In the story about alliances of kings, of battles, of rescue, of triumphant return, we're introduced to a brand new character. Look at the text. Verse 18, and Melchizedek, king of Salem. He seems to come out of nowhere. We're not told of his origin. We don't know what his family history is, his line. We don't know really much about him at all. We don't know why he even shows up in this moment. But what we're told about him is quite curious. Verse 18, the first part says his name is Melchizedek, king of Salem. Salem is what is now more commonly known as Jerusalem. Here is an ancient king of Salem. Way before it was ever the city of David. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years later. Way before it was ever Zion. Here's this character in the story named Melchizedek, king of Salem. And his name means, as one writer points out, his name means king of righteousness. Here comes this king of righteousness out of Jerusalem to meet Abram. In verse 18b, here's something else we know about it. He brings out bread and wine. Okay. Brings out bread and wine. Well, thanks for the meal, provider, king of righteousness. Thank you for that. The third part there, verse 18, we see that he's a priest. He's a priest of God Most High, El Elyon. God Most High. The Most High God. He is a priest of the Most High God. Same God that Abram worships. The one true God. Where does this guy come from? I don't know. And we're not told where he comes from. Interesting that he's called priest of God Most High. Interesting since this was around 400 years before the Jewish priesthood was ever created. There was no Jewish or Hebrew priesthood. There was no law of God that was written yet. This is hundreds of years ahead of time. And here is this priest of the Most High God coming out of Jerusalem who with bread and wine. And he comes to meet Abram, the father of the faith. Verse 19 to 20. And he blessed him. Melchizedek blesses Abram and said, Blessed be Abram by God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. And Abram gave him a tenth of everything. Wow, it just gets weirder. Apparently, this guy, this king of righteousness coming out of Jerusalem, Salem at the time, Abram looks at him and recognizes his spiritual superiority. And the greater blesses the lesser. As the king of righteousness comes out and looks at Abram and says, Bless you, by God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. Blessed be God Most High, has delivered your enemies into your hand. We see that Melchizedek is in a spiritually superior position of honor and authority over Abram, as evidenced by two things. First, we see Melchizedek's superior position of honor and authority over Abram, in that as priest, he blessed Abram. You would think that the father of our faith, the one through whom all the families of the earth would be blessed, might bless this non-Jew, Melchizedek. And yet, he stops. And he allows Melchizedek to speak to him and bless him. And he receives that blessing. And secondly, we see Melchizedek's superior position of honor and authority over Abram, in that Abram gave a tithe, a tenth, to Melchizedek. The greater receives the tithe from the lesser. Moses, who's writing this to people who have come out of Egypt, preceding their entrance into the promised land, 400 plus years later, he's writing this story about Melchizedek. He's pointing out, Moses is pointing out the spiritual superiority of Melchizedek over the father of the Israelite nation and the father of their faith, Abraham. If you're an Israelite your descendants have been living in Egypt for 400 years, now you've come out, and Moses, your leader, is saying, hey, there's another person, not even Jewish, The Israelite nations understood that this was significant and is a significant act by Abram and an important encounter. It became part of the psyche of the Jewish people, this idea of this Melchizedek figure. And evidence of this is in Psalm 110:4, where David writes, "The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek." And now we see David, who comes along hundreds of years after the time of the writing of the law, and David, under the inspiration of the Spirit, understands there is a different order of priesthood that is superior to the Levitical priesthood, to the Aaronic priesthood, Aaron's descendants. There is a priesthood that's superior, that belongs to somebody who's outside of all this Jewish nation stuff. There's something superior going on in this person, Melchizedek. There's a superior priesthood. You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. And in the New Testament, we read in Hebrews 7 that this ancient shadowy figure called Melchizedek, somebody who had, as Hebrews points out, no recorded genealogy, no mother or father that's mentioned. So there's no lineage to say, well, he belongs to this. There's none of that. Certainly someone who is not part of the Levitical priesthood. Hebrews 7 points out he's actually a superior priest. Superior to all the other priests in the Old Testament is this one priest, Melchizedek. And Hebrews 7 teaches that Jesus is our high priest, the guarantor of a better covenant. He is the one to whom God said, and I quote out of Hebrews 7, "The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever." Jesus is that one who is a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. So what's going on in Hebrews 7? Hebrews 7 looks back to this story in Genesis, builds on the foundation of Genesis 14, looks back at Psalm chapter 110, where it says there's another priesthood, and says Jesus is the fulfillment of Melchizedek. He is the one that Melchizedek was pointing to. He has a priesthood that is superior, that exists outside of the Levitical priesthood, outside of Aaron's descendants. It's a different priesthood. Jesus has one that will never end. He ever lives to make intercession for you, it says in Hebrews 7:25. He is living forever as our high priest, able to save to the uttermost those who draw near to God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them. So there's Jesus. There's Jesus in Genesis chapter 14. Coming out of Salem, the King of righteousness, with bread and wine, and he says, I'll feed you the finest bread, finest of wheat. I'll satisfy your soul. Here's the finest of drink, the finest that you can have, the finest that will satisfy your soul. But you have to look to me and trust in me. You have to come to me. Because the consequence of your sin, the unintended consequence of your sin, is that your future is absolutely demolished if you don't look to Jesus, the high priest, and trust in him and his sacrifice on the cross. So do you know Jesus as Lord and Savior? God is faithful despite the unanticipated consequences that threaten your future. And the way that he is faithful to you as a sinner is providing the way to escape the consequences that threaten your future. Listen, if you die without confessing Jesus as Lord, believing in the gospel, then your future is sealed. It's a future of horror, separated from God eternally in a place called hell. But you don't have to have that. You don't have to have that. God, in his faithfulness and love, has provided Jesus to take away your sins and relieve you of the eternal consequences of your sin.